Welcome back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside 113th ranked prospect Jake Boltmann. Jake, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing as fine as I can be. With these unfortunate circumstances, it's hard to do all right. And, a lot of people have turned towards Netflix. A lot of people have played golf. What have you been doing during quarantine?
Yeah, a lot of golf actually. A lot of golf. A little bit of Netflix. I've been watching my favorite show is The Office, so I've been watching that a couple times over again. But yeah, a lot of golf. Now in Minnesota, the rinks are starting to open up, so I've been able to skate basically all of June and now into July here. So that's been great. But during the springtime, it was a little tough. Had to get out the rollerblades a lot because all the rinks are closed. So skating around a little bit on the streets with some friends. That was probably what I was doing the most. So
And have you been golfing with your friends?
yeah. So the courses opened up probably 2 months ago now. So we've been able to get on the course. Obviously practicing all the social distancing type requirements that they have out there. But yeah, it's been fun. My I'm not the greatest golfer, but my friends are a lot better than me, so it's kind of fun to see them make some shots, and then I can maybe make a couple shots in a round and be happy with that. So.
Are you more or less the Happy Gilmore type stereotypic golfer?
I wouldn't put me at that level, but I'm obviously not a guy that's gonna be able to shoot in the low 70s or low 80s. But it's fun. I love playing golf. It's fun to just be out there and walk around and just have a good time with your friends. So.
Golf has returned. Have you ever watched a
Oh
tournament?
yeah. Oh yeah. I've been watching. I mean, that's the only live sports that they got on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been tuning in, watching a bunch of tour events. I actually went to the 3M Open that was in Minnesota last year. Went to the Sunday, so I saw Matthew Wolf win it there. That was pretty cool to see. But yeah, I enjoy watching golf. Enjoy playing golf. Obviously, I wish I could be a little bit better at it, but I mean, it is what it is. So.
Getting into your story bit here, who influenced you to start hockey?
I'd say when I was at a very young age, my dad's side of the family was never. My dad never played hockey, but my mom's side, my mom's brother, so my uncle, he was a huge hockey guy. So he was the guy who got me my first pair of skates and first stick, and brought me out on the ponds here in Minnesota and kind of taught me how to skate. So if I have to say, and then my older brother played as well. So I got an older brother who's 4 years older than me. He played as well. So. I think those two guys are probably the people that kind of led me, and I just kind of fell in love with it after that. So,
Was there a player growing up who you wanted to model your game after?
I'd say one of my role models, being a Edina kid, Anders Lee, the captain for the Islanders. He played football for my dad and hockey. So when I was younger, I really looked up to him because I was always the little guy that was in the locker room, trying to hang out a little bit with the older guys. So, and he was always nice to me. And obviously, he's having a great career right now in the National Hockey League. So he was probably the number one guy that I looked up to and wanted to be like when I get older. So.
You mentioned that your dad's side never really got into hockey. It was all your mom's side. Would you be able to speak upon your road to where you are today, like some of the challenges you faced, the successes you've had?
Yeah, for sure. Well, growing up, my dad has been a longtime football coach. So we were basically kind of a football family. Growing up, obviously, I still played hockey and still loved it, but for sure, my family was more known as a football family, having my dad being the coach and my brother being a football player as well. I played football too. So yeah, I mean, growing up, I was always playing a lot of different sports. Played football, baseball, and hockey growing up, so I enjoyed every little second of that. Still miss playing football and baseball, but hockey is my passion and what I love to do. So it was a pretty easy decision to quit those two sports and be able to focus on hockey now. So I never really had any difficulties or anything that really hurt me. I was lucky enough to be able to play as many sports as I wanted to when I was younger, and now I made my decision to play hockey, and I'm not looking back, and I'm really excited. So.
Do you have any fond memories of yourself growing up as a hockey player?
Yeah, so I mean, growing up with all your friends playing mites, squirts, bantams, AAA hockey, all that stuff, all those tournaments out of town, the hotel rooms, bus rides. I mean, everything like that is just what you remember. Also, skating on the ponds here in Minnesota is something that you can do. That's just really fun. I mean, it's for the love of the game. I mean, you love hockey, you want to skate all the time, whether that's competitive in real games or just messing around with your friends and family on the rinks outside here in Minnesota. So that's just, I mean, you grow up in Minnesota and you grow up in Edina, and you're kind of bred to be a hockey player in a way, because everyone, it's state of hockey, and then we're called the cake eaters here in Minnesota, all the people playing hockey here. So it's easy to fall in love with the game.
Growing up in Minnesota, like you mentioned, did you become a Wild fan?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a Wild fan. I've never been like a diehard like some of my other buddies, because I've only been to one Wild game in my life. I've been to a lot more either Twins games or Vikings games. I've only been to one Wild game, so but yeah, I'd say I'm a Wild fan, and I'm pulling for them to, because they were on a little hot streak before this whole quarantine stuff came out. So hopefully they can get back to those winning ways and try to win a cup here, because it's been we haven't had one here. So it's that'd be fun to see in my lifetime.
How excited are you for the Twin season to start back up, plus the Wild season?
Oh yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, it's been way too long without live sports. You're kind of pulling your hair out at your house, just trying to figure out something to watch on TV. You kind of get sick of watching the same shows and the same type of replay games. But yeah, I'm really excited to see live sports again. I can't wait to. I think the first Twins game is July 24th, and then August 1st is when the NHL kicks off again. So I just can't wait. I mean, it's really exciting finally getting back to some type of normalcy, even though there can't be any fans. But it's still gonna be a joy to be able to watch it on TV.
What do you remember from the Minneapolis Miracle, I should ask?
Oh yeah, that's something I will never forget. I was actually sitting. I was in my living room with my family. We were just watching the game, and I got down to those last couple plays, and everyone was just kind of looking around like, "Oh, this game's over with. Our season's done." It was just kind of sad. And all of a sudden, the ball gets thrown up, and Diggs catches it, runs it in. We're all jumping and screaming and throwing the food that we had all around the living room. Yeah, it was pretty nuts. So that's something I will never forget. I mean, Minneapolis Miracle will go down and probably one of the best moments in sports history in Minnesota. So.
Yeah, and hopefully they do accomplish more than just that
Oh
one
yeah,
moment. Because
yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
the Vikings didn't make it to the Super Bowl that year. They were host of one.
yeah,
So we're all pulling for the city of Minnesota to
yeah.
do something special.
Yeah, Minnesota's been mediocre for a very long time. We always get in the playoffs, which is great, but we always get let down. Like us losing to the Eagles pretty badly in that NFC title game. But I mean, I'm still gonna pull for my Vikings till the day I die, and hopefully we can get if we can win a Lombardi Trophy or have the Wild win a cup here sometime soon. That'd be great to see.
How crazy was it when you heard about the Stephon Diggs trade?
I was surprised, but not as surprised as some other people, because I knew that he kind of clashed a little bit with a few of the guys, and there were some rumors going around during the season that he was going to request a trade. But I like the pick, the Justin Jefferson pick that we got in the first round. Really excited to see him, and I think though what we got from Diggs is good. So I'm still gonna follow Stephon. I like him. I got a jersey, Vikings jersey of Stephon Diggs in my closet. But I wish him the best in Buffalo. But I'm excited to see what Justin Jefferson can do for us.
With the new CBA for the NHL, it agreed, the players and union agreed on the NHL returning to the Olympics. What are your whole thoughts on that? Because obviously that's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously the past Olympics, they didn't have any of the NHL stars, so you're not able to see Patrick Kane and those kind of guys out there. But you go back to watching like Oshie and those, I don't know how many shootout goals he scored in a row to beat what was it?
Sergei
Russia?
Bobrovsky in Russia.
Yeah. So I mean, going back to that, I remember watching that. I was like, this is insane. Like, I
Yeah,
can't believe
dude.
I'm watching this right now. But now that they're going to be able to go back to that, it's really exciting seeing those kind of super teams, you could say, getting pulled together, all the best Americans, and then the Canada as well. So it was one of the favorite games I've watched too. Is when Crosby scored the golden goal, even though Canada beat the U.S. So it was still a fun game to watch. Yeah, it's still a fun game to watch. But yeah, I mean, it's really exciting to be able to see those guys play together, not just in the National Hockey League too.
Well, I think that the next Olympics will be one of the more hyped up Olympics because you're talking about Austin Matthews, Kane, Eichel on one line potentially. Then you have Crosby and potentially McDavid, right? So the endless,
a lot of firepower right there.
Yeah, I know, man. The possibilities are endless for what the lines might look like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got like there's it's just a pick of the litter for those two, for the U.S. and Canada. You got all the star players in the National League, so it'll be fun to watch and see what kind of lines they put together and what kind of matchups we'll be able to see. So,
what would it mean for you to be drafted with all the hard work you've put in?
Oh, it would mean the world. I mean, it's been a dream of mine since I can remember. I've been working my tail off every day since I can remember as well. So if I can get my name called here coming in October 8th and 9th, that would be a dream come true to just be there. Hopefully my family can be there with me. I'll probably be down in Lincoln, Nebraska during that time, playing some games finally in the USHL. But it would be a dream come true to see and get that call. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I've been enjoying this whole process. But yeah, I mean, it would be a dream come true if my name was able to get selected.
And how cool would it be to be drafted by your hometown Minnesota Wild?
Yeah, that would be obviously really cool. The Wild kind of shy away from drafting their hometown kids. Can't remember the last time they drafted a Minnesota guy. It's I don't even know the last time, but yeah, for sure. I mean, been a fan of the Wild for as long as I can remember. So yeah, being drafted by your hometown team carries a little bit more specialty to it. So.
Minnesota is in a hard position because they're in the Central Division along with Chicago, and like we've mentioned, the Wild have had some struggles, namely against the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Would there be any hard feelings with you getting drafted by such a prestigious franchise in Chicago?
I wouldn't say it's hard feelings. I mean, those games are always fun to watch. The Blackhawks mostly coming out with the wins in those series. But yeah, I mean, Chicago's a great organization and a great city, and they got a great fan base as well. So I'm just gonna be happy, and for wherever, if I do go or whoever drafts me, I'll be ecstatic and super excited to be a part of that organization. I wouldn't say it's gonna be weird at all, because if I get drafted by Chicago or whatever, then I'm gonna want to hate the Wild then too, because then I'm part of that organization. So. But it's all fun and games. I mean, there's no hard feelings against the Wild or Blackhawks. But yeah, growing up and watching those matchups, it was really fun. So,
how big of an honor was it when you got named captain at Edna High this year?
Yeah, being the captain at Edina this past year was something else. Being voted by your peers and then your coaches and teammates and stuff, it's always special. But yeah, it was at the time of my life playing my last year of high school. So yeah, I mean, being the leader of that team, it was great. All the guys were phenomenal. The coaches were great as well. It was a really fun year, and being a captain, there's only a select few people, and the history of Edina who can say that they were a captain for the Edina High School team. So it's a pretty cool honor that I can say that too.
This season, you posted 13 points in 25 games with Edna High. How do you make sure your game gets to the NHL level?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wish I could have been a little bit more productive in high school. But I mean, that's you always got to get better. You can take things away from whatever you do in life, but you always got to keep on getting better and better. So yeah, I mean, obviously next year, I hopefully that you get a little shoot in the numbers there, but it doesn't. I'm not a huge stats guy. I mean, I just like winning hockey games. So if my team is winning hockey games, but I have 4 or 5 points in 20 games or whatever it is, that's not something that's going to bother me. I just want to win hockey games. But yeah, I mean, I think that I can bring that to college and then to the NHL, just that will to win hockey games, and not really stressing about how my personal stats are doing, but more just about the team and how things are flowing there.
Well, I'm sure if you had 4 points in 20 games, that fantasy hockey owners would be kind of mad at you, to say the least.
Yeah, but the fantasy hockey owners are my teammates, so I don't have to answer to those guys. I gotta answer to my teammates. So
Now, Edna High is not really on the map in terms of drafting NHL players. How did you get your foot in the door?
well, the past couple, I'd say, well, Sammy Walker was drafted out of Edina a couple years ago. Ben Brakeman was drafted last year. There's been a couple guys in the recent years that have been drafted, not right out of high school, but like played a year in either junior hockey or college. So I'd say it's. I mean, obviously playing high school hockey, it's not the huge hot spot for a bunch of highly touted prospects or whatnot, but playing in junior hockey league or college hockey, you're going to have a lot more eyes on you than you would in high school. But I mean, I think that if you can play hockey, some guys are going to find you. Some scouts somewhere are gonna notice you. So that's when you just kind of gotta take that and go with it as well. So if you get that opportunity, that's just you gotta have a good game on there watching, and you gotta keep on playing consistent. So that's just something that you kind of gotta focus on when you're not playing at the highest stage, I guess, and some other guys do in junior hockey.
You played football as well at Edina High. How were you able to add those football skills to your arsenal for hockey?
Yeah, playing football until my junior year, or until my senior year, actually, I played my junior year. But yeah, I mean, football, like that physical toughness you need for it. Every single play you're gonna get hit, whether you like it or not. So you gotta toughen up for sure. I mean, I think just that physical style of football has helped me being a defenseman. In hockey, you got to play physical, and you got to be hard to play against in hockey. And that football, you got to do that on every play. So I love playing football, and I'm glad that I got those skill sets from football and can bring them into hockey.
How heartbreaking was it for you to give up football and baseball, like you mentioned, for hockey?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was heartbreaking. I knew growing up that there was going to be a time and place where I was going to have to kind of say goodbye to those two sports. But I mean, I'm playing the game I love right now, and I'm playing hockey, and that's keeping me busy, and it's exciting for me. But obviously, you wish you could stay young forever and play as many sports as you want and have as much time and fun with all your friends and play as many games. But you get to the point where you gotta pick your specialty and just go with it. So I'm excited about my future in hockey, and so yeah.
Realistically speaking here, how long do you think your development will take for you to reach the NHL level?
That's kind of hard to say. I mean, it's different for everyone. It
Hmm.
kind of depends on it. Just kind of depends on hopefully staying healthy. But I'd say probably a year next year for Lincoln Stars in the USHL, and then go off to college and maybe a couple years at college. But it kind of depends. I mean, say I'm lighting it up, whatever per se. I'm not saying I'm gonna, but say I'm lighting it up.
Hypothetically,
And, yeah,
hypothetically.
hypothetically, I'm lighting it up. But my team has a chance to win a national championship. I'd probably want to stay with my team and win a national championship. So I wouldn't say I don't know how far away my game is from being in the NHL, but also there's other aspects such as trying to win a championship with your college team and family stuff, and a lot of things come into play with that. But hopefully I'm not too far away from the skill development to be there. So,
What's going to be most memorable for you from this season?
Most memorable. I'd probably say just being with the guys every day in the locker room. This is my fourth year playing high school hockey here in Edina, and my final year. And I think this past year was just kind of enjoying just kind of all my laughs. Last practice, last game, last time in the locker room with the guys, just kind of stuff like that. It's been a special place the past 4 years for me at Edina, and I'm glad that I stayed all my 4 years. But at the end, it was a little sad that we weren't able to win another championship like we did the year before. But that's the way it is. That's how sports goes. You're gonna lose some games that you wish you could have won. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have changed this past season for the world. So.
And how did you find out the season was getting canceled?
Well, so I was down in Lincoln, Nebraska at the time, because I played before and after down there. So we were just coming in for a normal skate. I know the day before is when the NBA put a suspension on it. I think it was a Wednesday maybe. So the Thursday morning we were just going in to just do our normal workouts and skates, and we're all getting ready, and the coaches kind of came in saying just kind of pause everything, and we're gonna have a team meeting in 5 to 10 minutes. So we were just kind of hanging out, not really knowing what was gonna happen, and then they came in just saying that the league was gonna take like a couple weeks off and hopefully come back sometime soon. And then the next day we found out that it was gonna be longer than a couple weeks, so we were gonna pack up our stuff and head home. Because I'm only 6 hours away from Lincoln, so it wasn't that bad of a drive home, and I could always go down whenever we're gonna try to restart. So going home, kind of fingers crossed, hoping that the season was gonna resume. I think a couple weeks later, they ended up just kind of canceling the whole season, which was not as surprising as I thought it was gonna be. Just kind of because just at that time, March Madness was getting canceled, and college hockey was getting canceled. So I thought that we'd probably follow them. But yeah, it was sad. I mean, I wish we could have still finished the regular season and played some playoff hockey, but it is what it is, and we had to stay safe. And I'm just hoping that next year can kind of get back to a little bit of normalcy.
Will you cherish hockey like that much more due to the coronavirus pandemic?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's when you. I feel like when I had to come home and all the rinks were closed and everything, I was just like, what am I supposed to do now?
Exactly.
I had to hockey's kind of my life, and now all of a sudden you can't play it. So for sure, as soon as I'm able to play that first game that really matters in competition, whether that's our first preseason game or at training camp or regular season game, it's gonna be pretty special. Just being so away from it for so long, and now that you're finally back to it, it's gonna be a special moment. I can't wait to just be back to playing hockey and playing in competition and all that good stuff.
Because I think personally, I do take hockey for granted. I never thought that this would have happened, because I usually go to the rink on a Sunday, getting ready to play. I'm with my guys, right? But now with the whole coronavirus pandemic, it just opens it up in a wider spectrum, just saying wow, this could be taken away from us, and we never knew it.
Exactly. I'd never thought that our season was going to get canceled for some pandemic that we had, but it did, and we couldn't really do anything about it. So obviously now more than ever, like you want to just get back on the ice and get
Mm-hmm.
back to playing games, and now you got a little. Well, this could be taken away at every moment, so you got to make the best of it while you have it. So.
How weird will it be for you next year? Because there probably will be no fans, not hearing the cheers.
Yeah, I mean, it will be really weird. Hopefully, hopefully we're able to do some type of capacity of fans coming in. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, that's just a personal opinion or a personal want that I want. But yeah, it's going to be weird. Playing in front of fans is always fun. Hearing their chants and hearing their screams when a big play happens or a big hit and all that good stuff. It's gonna be missed. But it's still you're still playing hockey. So if I get to play hockey in front of no fans, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to be playing hockey. But in a way, it's also cool to have fans there. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it can something get figured out. But if not, I'm fine without having to play in front of fans.
How do you go about your game days? Like, what's your routine?
I'm not a superstitious guy. I know I got a lot of teammates and a lot of friends who take their superstitions really seriously, and I kind of give them crap for it because my superstition is to have no superstition. So I don't. I don't want to need to have a meal at this certain time, or I just want to show up to the rink and play hockey games. I would say if I have a routine, it would be taking a cold shower before I get
Okay, yeah,
dressed.
that definitely
That's
helps.
that's one thing that you could say it's made you superstition, but I just think it just feels good and it kind of wakes you up a little bit and gets your juices flowing. But that's one thing if you want to take something out of my routine that might be a little different than other people that they do, but yeah, that'd be my thing. But yeah, I don't have any crazy routines or crazy like stuff that you have to do or else you can't or else you think you're gonna have a bad game or anything. I just think that's a little too much. I think you just gotta play hockey. So
How busy would you say you are during the season?
yeah, you're really busy. I mean, you're every morning you're waking up, um, going to work out, lift weights in the mornings, and then getting your and then you have meetings after that, power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5 team meetings, and then after that you get your gear back on and go out and skate and have your team practice, and then stay on a little longer and do some skill stuff after, and then obviously, being a senior in high school this year, I had to still do all my classwork and making sure I got staying on top of all that stuff. So, yeah, it's like a full time job being a hockey player. You gotta stay on top of everything, but I love it. I mean, I wouldn't have this is what I want to do in my life, and I love doing it. So it's not like a burden on me, but yeah, it does take a lot of time, and you are really busy every day of the week. So but it's worth it. So
Do you find yourself doing schoolwork on the bus to road games?
I would say I try to get it done before you leave because it's kind of hard to focus on the bus
Yeah,
when
yeah, I
all
would
your
assume.
guys are all your guys like guys that don't have classwork doing they're just gonna bug you and nag you the whole time. So you got to make sure you get it done. But if you have a big project or whatever, you can try your best to do it on the bus, but it's probably not going to be. You're probably not going to be doing your best work. You're going to want to get it done a little quicker than usual. But yeah, I've done some work on the bus, and I know a couple other guys have if they're just kind of a little far behind or need to catch up on something. But I mean, you try to get it done before you go on your roadies. So
Now, there is a lot of downtime during a normal off season. How do you stay busy during the off season?
during the off season, like I said, I golf a lot. I skate probably 4 or 5 times a week. Working out too. I got this really nice gym, probably a block from my house called First Athlete that I work out with, and a couple of my teammates. Other than that, just kind of hanging out, golfing. I play some tennis too. Just kind of stay active. I like competing and just other games as well. So whether that's playing golf or tennis, I like to have a winner and a loser, even though I might be the loser here and there. But yeah, it's always fun to just kind of compete with your friends and just kind of hang out and do that kind of stuff.
What would you say has been the toughest challenge for you this season?
Toughest challenge for me this past year in Edina, we didn't have our record wasn't showing kind of just how we were playing games. We lost a lot of one goal games and games in overtime that just kind of hurt the morale of the team and just kind of get us down because you feel like you should have won that game, and then you look at your record and it says a loss, and it's kind of tough. But at the same time, that's something that brings your team together as well. You can either take that as in a good way and build around that and make your team better from that, or you can let that derail your season. So I thought we did a really good job this year building around that and going forward with that. Just kind of that more will to want instead of selling for those one goal losses. We're just like, we're done with this. We gotta have those one goal wins. So I feel like just kind of rallying the team during that was probably one of the harder things to do this past year.
Has the coronavirus impacted your draft preparation?
I wouldn't say it's impacted my draft preparation because until the other day, I had no idea when the draft was going to be. Because it's probably going to be another online one, kind of like the NFL was. So they could bring that up in a week and be like, oh, we got the draft next week, because they don't have to have a huge like studio and all that stuff come in. It's just kind of online. So, but it's been kind of playing it by ear. But yeah, no, it hasn't been affecting my draft preparation. Now knowing when the draft is going to be is kind of nice, so you can have that on your calendar. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna take a few weeks off here and just do nothing just because the draft is a while away. That doesn't know. But so yeah, it hasn't affected anything like that.
You're kind of in a unique situation because you can add a few more games to your to add to your draft stock before the actual draft takes place. Will you take advantage of that?
Yeah. I think playing in the few games before the draft will be huge. Just kind of because the scouts and teams haven't seen anyone skate since
March.
Since March. So obviously they're gonna be out there watching, see how you did over quarantine, see if you've been working hard and getting better. So I think I have, and I think that I'm really excited to show some strides I've made in my game, and I think that'll be huge for the draft as well. So,
is there a team in specific that was really hard to play against this season?
In the USHL, I'd probably say Fargo and Omaha are probably the two toughest teams to play. Omaha being Lincoln's kind of rivalry team, so it's always a physical game. And then Fargo is having a good year as well. They got some big bodies on their forward, so they're every time they chip the puck in, they're coming to hit you. So I'd say those two are probably the tougher teams to play.
What are some qualities about your game that you like, and how do you keep those qualities consistent?
Yeah, I think couple qualities are just my competitiveness. My kind of will to want to win games. I think my skating ability is up there. I feel like I can skate with everyone out there. I don't feel I'm overwhelmed at all. So I think those are just some things that I can take to the next level. But obviously you got to work on a bunch of stuff, puck handling, puck retrievals, that kind of stuff that can bring you to the next level. So.
What are some qualities of your game that you could improve on, and how do you go about improving on those qualities?
Yeah. I just think just kind of my puck handling skills. That's just stuff that you can work on in your garage or on plastic ice or in the street or whatever. Just stick handling, and then also shooting pucks too from different angles, getting quick releases off. That kind of stuff. That just being a defenseman, you got to get the puck through from the point. So making sure you're doing those little things that can help your team.
What would you say is your go-to shootout move if you got the opportunity?
My go-to shootout move. It's been a while since I've been picked to be in a shootout. Say probably just come down and just rip a clapper somewhere.
I love it. I love it.
Try to beat the goal. I'm not a huge skill hands guy, so I think just coming down and just trying to rip one past the goalie's ears or whatever would be probably my go-to.
Who would you say is your roomie on long road trips this year?
Yeah, my roommate for the past couple of times, we switch a lot. So most of the time we switch. My bunk buddy, like on our sleeper buses. So I was a rookie this past year, so I had to like share a bunk. Was Jacob Bauer. I also lived with him. I billeted with him, so we were really good buddies. So it wasn't. It's a tight fit, obviously, but
yeah, for sure.
You make it a good time, and like it's fun just to be with all the guys. But yeah, we switched a lot, roommates at hotels. I was with him a couple of times. I was with Jordan Power a couple of times. They switch it up here and there, so you never really know. You don't have like a concrete roommate. I don't know if that's going to change this year. But yeah, so you don't really have the same roommate every single time. But
and you're committed to the the University of Minnesota for your hockey, right? Yeah. So what played into your commitment there?
Yeah. So I've been committed for a while now. I committed my freshman year, so it's been probably 4 years now. So I mean, growing up in Minnesota, like you've always been a Gopher fan. So I mean, you see guys from Edina or other cities around here that go to play for Minnesota, and that's just kind of like when you're a little kid, like your dream is to be a Gopher. So when they recruited me and offered me, it was kind of a no-brainer. I've always been a fan. I've gone to many hockey games when I was younger, and to this day, know a lot of guys on the team now. Guys I've played with, guys I've played against. So yeah, I'm really excited. Once I'm able to get there to get to work. So.
What will you be studying at the University of Minnesota?
I don't know yet. Probably something like business management, maybe business law. We'll see. I mean, it's I still got some time to think about that before I got to make a concrete decision. But yeah, I'd say something to do with business or maybe law or something like that. So.
Last question here on the Pagcast. Jake, thank you again for coming on. Do you have any advice for aspiring hockey players that may look up to you one day?
I mean, just like you're gonna hear a lot of things from coaches and your parents, but you gotta want it yourself too. I mean, you can hear and say how great you are from other people, but if it's not something that you want to do, then I mean, it's like you gotta have that inner drive in you. But yeah, I mean, just have fun with hockey. I mean, I've enjoyed playing hockey my entire life. I've never once not wanted to go to the rink. So I just think having fun with it, not stressing out too much about it. Obviously now is a little bit more intense as you get older, just kind of because it can be your livelihood some days. So you got to make sure that you're staying on to it. But I think younger players just have fun with it. Have fun with the guys. Obviously being competitive too, but at the same time you don't want to make it into like a training camp where you don't enjoy going to the rink anymore. So I just say enjoy it, have a blast, but obviously work hard and keep pushing and follow your dreams. So
I'd like to thank the 113th ranked prospect Jake Boltmann for joining me on today's podcast. Thank you again, Jake.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.